about the bill. The bill is called the Right to Rest Act. It also goes under the name of the Homeless Bill of Rights. That's the larger campaign because we know that even this one bill, which is a massive, massive bill to decriminalize our existence in public space, still has more to add to it. So the Homeless Bill of Rights campaign includes things like hygiene centers, like legal defense, and additional measures to have an overall protection for our basic rights. But the Right to Rest Act is the bill that we've run the past 2 years and are running again this year. And I think it's important that everybody really knows what this bill says and what it does not say. Because what we come across in the state legislature is a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinterpretations of what the bill says. So everybody that has a t-shirt has the rights of the bill. If you haven't grabbed a t-shirt yet, grab a t-shirt either now or later, and you'll remember the rights because they're on the back. Ray read the rights off at the beginning, so I don't need to read them off again. But those are the rights of the bill. So it's basically the right to sleep, the right to lay down, the right to cover yourself, the right to sit down, the right to sleep in a vehicle, the right to privacy of your belongings, and the right to give and receive food. All of these rights that are in the bill are being criminalized. There are laws on the books across the state of Colorado that criminalize these behaviors. In numerous cities in Colorado, it's illegal to sleep in your vehicle. In Boulder, we have folks here from Boulder who can speak to that. It's illegal to sleep in your own vehicle. That's also the case in Westminster and many other cities across Colorado. This is craziness, but this is the world we live in right now. And these rights also came from the street outreach. So it's all of the rights that are in this bill are rights that were coming up again and again through the street outreach that Marcus mentioned. And they're rights that have to do with basic survival. Each of these rights has to do with something that every person has to do to survive. Everyone has to sleep. Everyone has to sit down. But when you have no other option, those things are being criminalized. I think there's a couple key points. Let's do it this way. I'm going to turn the whiteboard around really quick. There's a couple key points I think we need to remember that this bill does not do. This bill does not say that you can obstruct, I can't spell, somebody else is right here. Does not say that you can obstruct passageways. You can't obstruct the sidewalk.
Athena, do you know where the markers are?
Laying down on the sidewalk, blocking the doorway, that's not allowed in this bill.
Athena,
If your
do you know where the markers are?
crap is all over the whole parking lot and so that people can't, park their cars, that's not allowed in this bill. This bill simply allows the right to rest in public spaces in a non-obstructive manner. Okay, go ahead, really quick.
Can I just address that? This bill does not allow you to break existing laws. I mean, the laws against trespassing, laws against stealing, laws against littering, this bill does not allow you to break those valid laws that we have for public safety.
Yeah, it does not allow you to do any of that. It does allow you to do things that are currently illegal, like sleeping with a sleeping bag. But it does not allow you to do things that are currently illegal, like obstructing a sidewalk or any of the other laws that Debbie was listing. So obstruction, that's a really, really important thing to keep in mind, because you'll hear that again and again and again. They'll say, oh, but there's trash, oh, but they're blocking the sidewalk, oh, but all these things. And that doesn't mean that we're saying those are good things. I think that most of us can advocate that we don't want people to be blocking sidewalks. We don't want people to be throwing trash about. So that's not part of the bill. Another thing, some people interpret this bill to think that it's just for homeless people. That's actually not the case. This bill is actually for all people. everybody is protected by the Right to Rest Act. So if you are just so happen to be hanging out on the streets and you're sitting on the sidewalk with someone who's homeless, or just with your friends, you're a bunch of housies sitting out on the sidewalk, you're still allowed to do that under this bill. This is basic human rights for everybody. It's not special rights for homeless people. It's basic rights that everybody deserves and that everybody needs to survive in public space. And it's important to know that because there's a lot of misconceptions, forgetting that there's other people that are affected by this that are not homeless. There's people that are, living in shitty housing complexes that want to be hanging out in public space. People that, are living indoors but that still utilize public space in a way that involves sitting on the sidewalk, or sleeping, or using protection from the elements, sleeping in the vehicle, all these things. And I think the other thing that's important to know that this bill does not do, that's a little bit of a change from last year's bill, this year's bill, so everybody should have gotten, let me rephrase that, a number of you, 25 of you to be precise, should have gotten a packet that has a bunch of materials in it. And we only made 25 copies because they're cheap and I didn't think everyone would show up. So you'll have to share with other people. But in that packet is the bill from last year. The bill this year is very, very similar to the bill last year, but there are a few changes. The 2017 version of the bill is that we're still negotiating those changes with the sponsors. So there's a few changes in there that we've all agreed on in terms of the internal coalition that is working on this, but that have not gotten the approval of the bill sponsors yet. So I didn't include those in there. But just so you have a general sense of what those are without the exact language, one of those changes has to do with the portions around discrimination. The bill that is from last year and was from the year before had a few more sentences about discrimination, and we ended up taking those out of the agreed on version for this year, not because discrimination is not an issue, which it is, we all know it is, but because the other rights of the bill are the rights that we're trying to protect. So the rights around sitting, laying down, the basic survival rights are the core meat of the bill. The discrimination piece is something that can also be addressed, but is getting a large amount of pushback from legislators, and all of the focus was tending to go towards the discrimination aspect as opposed to the other basic rights. So we ended up deciding that it made the most sense to just focus in on the basic survival rights in this bill, and other bills may at future times address the discrimination issue in another way. Go ahead.
But we gotta pick your battle. We can't fight every battle today. We gotta pick the ones we think we can win.
And another piece of that is that sort of messies the waters because that's focused on discrimination based on housing status, discrimination of people who are homeless. But this bill is for all people. So to make it real clean, it's just focused on the rights for all people to survive in public spaces. So yeah, those are some important things everybody should know about with the 2017 Right to Rest Act. So I'm going to shift gears to say a few things about the opposition, because I think many of us in this room would probably look at these rights and say, that's obvious. Why is this not passed? Why can they not have a basic right to use a sleeping bag, to sit down,